Hello, and welcome to the reading of the week for November 26th to December 3rd. My name is Titania, and I will be your tarot guide for this reading. I'd like to invite you to just close your eyes, take 3 nice deep breaths, and pull yourselves into this present moment with me as we set our intention for this reading. Just see a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine, anchoring you deep into Mother Earth, pulling you into this now moment. Letting go of anything that doesn't serve you right here, right now, any distractions, anything that's been pulling you off your center. Just come back to your heart and your breath and your body. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children who are listening now and in the future. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that we most need to receive right now, and to provide that in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our personal and collective highest and greatest good. I'd like to invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening to be present, as well as an overlighting angel of communication to facilitate this exchange and ensure that it happens in the highest and best way possible for each and every individual listening, as well as our collective human path forward. I'd also like to invite the Four Archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us. Across time and space, wherever each individual is, you are part of this circle of light now. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming, for creating this beautiful container of light, of wisdom, of transformation, of healing, of all that is in our collective heart and mind at this time. Thank you for honoring it. Anything that doesn't match our intentions for clarity, for wisdom, for transformation, for healing, for peace, for ease, for well-being is welcome to go now. Wherever you are, welcome. I hope you're well. Let's get to the reading, shall we? Okay, Creator, what is it that we most need to receive right now, this week, for our highest and greatest good, to help us individually and collectively to strive to be our highest and our best, to ascend, to be all that we can be, as we navigate these very strange times. Where I am, we're in the midst, we're in between 2 big storms. So hopefully everyone is okay wherever you are. My love and thoughts go out to anybody who was in that last big storm and is still not settled and is still dealing with the aftermath of that. Yeah. Wherever you are on the planet, whatever's going on for you, you're not alone. You're part of this circle of light. We're all holding you in a good way, and thank you for being part of that. As we hold our peace, we increase the peace for everyone. So let's do that this week again. Okay, Creator, what do we need to know this week for our collective highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest expression of our best on the planet at this time, for ourselves, for life, for community, for the world, for all life that shares this planet. All right, let's get wise, shall we? Starting off with the Tower. Endings. Endings, and it's not the endings of the Death card, certainly. That's a pretty intense card. But the Tower card is all about that which is no longer in service, coming down to its foundations. All these institutions, all these infrastructures, all these systems that no longer serve us, coming down to their foundations so that we can rebuild, so that we can have structures and scaffolding, those apparatus of structure in our society that truly serve us personally and collectively. And in light of us personally, wherever you are, if you are finding things ending in your life, or things that you thought were permanent are coming down to their foundations, if you find that you're being left with, I think about those people who've lived through these floods where everything has been destroyed. Understanding that sometimes it takes that kind of transformation to create the room in your life for what it is that you really want. And I know that could sound really harsh, and I really don't want to diminish anybody's suffering or experience, but I would like to offer a reframe that this is a fresh new start, an opportunity to recreate life the way you want it to be, rather than perhaps existing within structures or beliefs or patterns that aren't actually congruent with who you really are right now on the planet or what you want to be doing. I think we're all inundated in the Western world with too much stuff. And going through a transformation like this, where things are just brought down to their essentials, is deeply transformative for us and frees up our bandwidth and our energy, because every piece of stuff that we own is a bit of our energy distracted from our here and now. It takes energy and bandwidth to manage stuff. And so when we have this sort of cataclysmic, serendipitous, strange thing kind of happen, and we are given a fresh beginning in our lives, whether we wanted it or not, it's an opportunity. And so reframing whatever is in your experience as an opportunity is powerful. Included in this could be anybody who's going through hard times, who's had to leave positions, work, who've been forced into situations that they didn't necessarily want to be in. It's an opportunity to reframe your life and to really make it count, to really rebuild from a space of intention, of integrity, of alignment, and craft your life going forward in a way that is very, very much in alignment with your heart, going into your heart, anchoring your truth and your life from that place, from this point onward. It's big. The Tower card is big. In this card, we have the lightning of truth striking the tower of false beliefs and delusion and knocking it to its foundation because it wasn't solid to begin with. That's where we're finding ourselves. This is in the recent past. The influence is waning, but it continues into our present and into our future. So this is something that needs to get borne in mind, that when we are offered a fresh beginning, or we're forced into a fresh beginning, we need to rally our energy and understand that it's because there is something in there that was not serving us or serving our collective greatest good, and we need to reframe and redirect our energies in better ways, in more congruent ways, the way of the heart. Not so much maybe the way of the mind or the way of society, that's those structures, those illusions, those stories that we're told. If we're not successful, if we don't have XYZ, letting that go and letting yourself define what that is for you. Okay, the present moment. Oy. 2 major arcanas right off the bat, and both powerful transformative energy cards. So yeah, the people that I follow are talking about this as being a time of profound transformation, and the cards have been indicating that for some time, and where we are right here, right now is. It just is. And it's being reiterated right now. We have the Death card, as I said, the most powerful transformative card of the deck. Now, the Death card can mean death. Certainly it can. More often, though, it means radical transformation. It means radical endings. It means a death of something in one's experience. So, and here again, it's not a bad thing. The skeleton, it's kind of hard to see, but the skeleton has a smile on its face. I mean, I guess all skulls do, but it looks like it's about to break into a dance. It's sort of shuffling along and whistling a tune if it could. This energy of change, of transformation, of new beginnings, of fresh starts, of giving ourselves permission to embrace a new fresh start and really go in the direction that we're called to really go in the direction of our preferences. I know so many in the past, how long has it been? Almost 2 years, have been going through radical endings, radical transitions, radical discombobulation of their lives, relationships ending, careers ending, new beginnings, moving to new locations, breaking with family and finding your tribe. There's been so much that's been happening on the planet, and it's been hugely discombobulating. Let's face it, this hasn't been an easy time. But what we're seeing this week in the cards is this energy of radical transformation, and it being for our highest good. We have to always trust that what life brings us is a gift, is an opportunity, is an opening for our best, even though it might not be comfortable to go through it in the meantime. It's for our good. And as I always like to point out with this death card, which we saw last week or the week before, we have the cocoons of the caterpillars metamorphosing into butterflies. That going from a more two-dimensional, three-dimensional existence into something that allows them to fly, to experience life in a completely different dimension. That's where we're going. That's where humanity is headed. So it's an end to what was. Grieve it if you must, but truly it was not serving us. And it's time to move on. It's time to dream the future. To imagine what life will be like as a butterfly. To have that kind of ability to float and be free and dance through the air. It's going to be great. Okay. Near future. The Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a very practical person. We have Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Those are the earth signs. So earth element, thinking that earth energy. The near future is about this sort of card of practicality that is combined with the intuitive feminine, the deep knowing of what is appropriate, that deep connected space, knowing our space on the earth, knowing our connection to each other, what is most appropriate, what is for the highest and greatest good, not only for myself, but collectively. This is the vision of our near future. This is where we need to pull ourselves as we navigate these changes that we're seeing here. I apologize for the glare on the cards. So this is the energy of our near future, where we are going to. We need to pull in this energy of the Queen of Pentacles, the earth element, letting her guide us, letting her inspire us, learning to tune in to our inner wisdom and our intuition, our connection to the earth, being grounded, being practical, appreciating beauty, appreciating the small, simple things in life, letting those things guide us, and being wise and intentional about how we're using our resources, not only for ourselves, but collectively. How are we moving forward? How are we being in our own lives, but how are we being in our communities? How are we being in the world? We all have a role to play, and everybody's role is different. We're not all here to do the same thing. It's very important that we realize that, because we have a culture, a gap culture, it can be called, a culture of sameness. You know, dressing the same, doing the same things, living the same ways. And we're unique individual beings, not here to do things the same. We're here to experience and express and have fun and discover our highest satisfaction and preference and joy and enthusiasm. And as we live that, it provides freedom for others to live their truth and their highest enthusiasm and their highest good. And finding our people and feeding off that energy of who we are and what we have to bring to life is very, very exciting. This is the energy of where we're going. So yes, we have to navigate these endings, and we have to find our way through them in good ways. Understanding that even if it is difficult, it is bringing us to something greater. And we get to find that by navigating from our heart, by navigating through our intuition, by being practical, yes, but practical in our connection to the planet, practical in our connection to each other, practical from that space, not necessarily the conditioning and the training that we've had from before, if that makes any sense. The foundation card for this week, why we're having this reading, is the card of abundance. So life is abundant. Nature is abundant. This is our native state. That is what we are part of. We have a very strange conditioning around scarcity and around limitation and around smallness. We've had a lot of conditioning around this, that it's time for it to go. There's enough for everyone. If we're practical about it, if we're smart about it, if we're intentional about it. This isn't about hogging stuff and accumulating things. We're moving into a new experience of life. It's not about the stuff. It's about expressing our best. Who are we? How do we shine in the world? And how do we make the world a more beautiful place? And there's so many different ways of doing that, and we're figuring it out. I don't know if anybody has the blueprint yet, but we're figuring it out. But always remembering that the universe is abundant. The universe is generous. It always has our back. It always provides for us. And it takes some trust, yeah. But when we step into this, we're always shown how well things work out and how well we're taken care of. And even looking back on your life, things may not have turned out, difficult times may not have turned out as you expected, but ultimately it's taken you somewhere good. There have been good things along the way. And when we start to shift and focus in that direction, we start to realize that that's how life operates. Hard things happen. That forces us to grow, to know ourselves better, and to become more than we were. And as a result of that, we expand and we become more. And our own abundance and generosity can join that of life and the universe. And we can all be more abundant and radiant and shine more together and have a greater experience. More beauty for all. It's a lovely foundation card for this week. This remembering of the abundance, remembering the beauty, remembering how we are all part of this gorgeous life experience. And we can make it more beautiful for each other if we choose to. Or we can choose to diminish it. It's a very interesting card. This idea of how do we be a clearing for more well-being on the planet. And again, this may not mean that you are out there actively in the world, I don't know, doing triage at an emergency relief center. Okay? That may not be what you're here to do. But if you're living from a place of beauty and abundance and enjoying and appreciating and honoring life and what it's bringing you, and you're in that state of gratitude, you're contributing a huge amount of good energy to the collective right now. Don't underestimate your energy of peace, your energy of love, of kindness, and even if your life is a very simple one, but it's a good life, a whole life, a congruent life, that harmony adds to the beauty of everything. So, interesting. Majors, arcanas. We're going through a lot, humanity. Going through a lot as individuals, and we're going through a lot collectively. But as the old falls away, and we're between stories, we're navigating this change, we're navigating the transformation, we're figuring it out. And we are in the cocoon. We don't know where we're going. We don't know that we're going to be butterflies. But our broader, wiser part of us knows where we're going. And pulling on that to help us, drawing on that, calling for help from that part of us, will help us to navigate in wise, useful manner the world so that we can make it more beautiful and more functional and more healthy and support everyone's well-being and happiness. And just remember this foundation card. Life is generous. Life is abundant. The universe is abundant. We are abundant. How do you shine that in the world? How do you share your abundance in the world? It may not be dollars. It may be your songs. It may be your artwork. It may be your smile. It may be your cheerfulness. It may be your peacefulness. We have wonderful gifts to give. Don't underestimate what you have to offer. Okay, I'm repeating myself. I better get to the card to grow on. All right, Creator, here we go. Our card to grow on this week. The card's doing somersaults. What do we need to know most this week? What can we carry with us? A token card to remind us of what we most need to keep in present before us as we navigate the coming week, and weeks, and months, and years. As one of the people I follow is saying, Pam Gregory, astrologer, she has a wonderful channel on YouTube. Her most recent reading on the upcoming solar eclipse on December 3rd and 4th. She's talking about being at the tipping point on the seesaw. That's where we are. Tremendous amount of energy, a lot of things going on. The next few months might even get more intense. We just have to navigate it to the best of our ability from a peaceful and loving place. We're getting through it. We're getting through it together. Okay, our card to grow on this week, Creator. What is it that we most need to know? What is the wisdom that you need to drop into our hearts so we can be our best? And we have the card of signals. 8 of Wands. Wands are about creativity, inspiration, and passion. And the Eight of Wands, you see the person here is standing at the bottom and they're receiving these incoming signals, which are blooming as they get close to the person. And the person is standing on a blooming rose, which is, of course, the symbol of love. So there's this energy, there's this idea of blooming, of creativity, of passion, of exchanging energy on the level of creativity, inspiration, passion, being inspired, finding your inspiration, letting it bloom in your life, letting the messages come into your life and inspire you. Because, of course, that's how we're best going to navigate any tumultuousness in our lives, is getting into a generative, creative space, staying with the things that light us up, giving ourselves permission to bask in that energy a lot and bring that generative, creative passion to our experience. That could be knitting. That could be any project that lights you up. It's important because that's helping to kindle your fire of imagination, of generation, of creativity, of passion. And we need this right now on the planet. We need people in their passion. We need people in their joy. We need people in their bliss. We need people in their enthusiasm as much as possible, because that energy is so life-giving. That is the life principle. That generative energy is the life principle. And this card is calling us to that this week. Your work this week is to give your attention to what inspires you and get into it and exchange your excitement. Talk about what brings you to excitement. Even if you are, not surrounded by other knitters and that's your passion, share the fact that you're excited. They don't necessarily need to know that it's because you learned a new stitch or that you finished a piece or you've been challenged. It's just more this idea of sharing the enthusiasm with others. Because when we give ourselves permission to bask and enjoy that, and we share that with others, it gives them permission to do the same in their own experience. And that's very life-giving for everybody. So, this week, pay attention to what excites you, what inspires you, and what enlivens you. Let yourself enjoy it and bask in it and be grateful for it. And of course, the universe is abundant. There's more there if you go looking for it. There's more to discover if you go looking for it. It has everything to do with what our attention and our focus is on. If you're focused on the good stuff in your life, that's what you're going to find more of. If you're focused on the crap, that's what you're going to notice more of. So pay attention to what you're giving your attention to. Attention to your attention. And have a good week. Just invite you to close your eyes. Get present with me one more time as we set our intention and say our closing prayer. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children who are listening now and in the future, whenever. I just include them in the circle of light. Wherever you are part of the circle of light and love, of transformation, of inspiration, of generation, of peace, of upliftment. We are all growing together, and I'm so grateful to all those who are holding the space for us. Here and on the other side, all those light workers, all those light holders, space holders, angels, ancestors, thank you. And friends, we're so grateful to you wherever you are, wherever you be. I'm grateful to each of you for holding good space in your life, for being here each week, for being willing to be more than you were, to change and grow and adapt and become more and more resilient and authentic and congruent with who you truly are, and expressing more of that in the world. I mean, that's the biggest gift you can give to all of us, really, and to yourself. That's where the satisfaction and the pleasure and the joy is shining who we are more brightly on the planet, and I'm grateful to you for doing that. I wish you a beautiful week. Wherever you are, see if you can tune into your enthusiasm wherever you are. And if you're in the middle of upheaval in your life, see if you can tap into that enthusiasm about crafting the life you are longing for in your heart, knowing that this space is giving you the opportunity to do this. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be surrounded by? What do you want to be surrounded by? The previous life that you were holding, was it truly you? Was it honoring who you really were? Or was all that stuff just weighing you down? Be open to profound transformation, because that's what's up right now. And you can move through it beautifully if you give yourself the chance to. So dream a beautiful dream this week, everybody. Stay in that beautiful generative energy, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Lots of love.